This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
So my answer to going to college was join the Army. 1992, my life changed forever. PCS to Germany with my two boys, and really try to take advantage of the opportunity to travel, learn another language, the culture. It was to me the dream coming true, that everything that I'd been going through was worth it, because I was seeing another part of the world that I wouldn't have had the opportunity if I hadn't been in the military. Planned on getting out in 2000. That was really kind of a part of a joy in my life, and getting married for the second time. And I looked forward to the future. Ended up kind of becoming disillusioned, and that was the whole housing bubble thing, where the mortgage jumped from bank to bank to bank. My kids were counting on me to take care of them, to ask for that kind of help. I've done to help other women is make sure that they know what their resources are. It's for a long time I didn't understand that my service in the military counted as a woman veteran, but nobody told me, hey Eva, you're a veteran too, until I had that light bulb moment and said, my service counted too. And I can tell you it's been a long road to learn how to dream again. The community was the solution, be it churches, be it nonprofits, be it veteran service organizations, or just people like myself. We are the resources. We are the solution to help keeping women off of the street, our women veterans housed and having the resources they need and not living in a car. Of the work that grows us as leaders for our second service after the military to serve other people in our communities.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the From Pain to Purpose radio show. I am Eva Fulton. I am your host today. And every other day. And I really appreciate the honor to be able to be on. This is my third show today. Earlier, I was on with Red Skelton at Red's Round Table, and we had a bunch of us hosts on, and really just, celebrating our anniversary with MBR and how much we've grown. And also, celebrating as a tribute to Armed Forces Day, to all of the women and men and women who are serving in the armed forces now. And we thank you for what you're doing to keep our nation free. Today is Saturday, May 17th, the year of our Lord, 2025. And, what we talk about on the From Pain to Purpose show is really kind of a plethora of different topics, but uh, literally we are, transforming people. At least that's my goal. We're transforming people, but we're exploring the stories that our guests have that are talking about their journeys of resilience and healing and transformation, and sitting down with individuals and leaders in our communities who face unimaginable struggles and turn their pain into power, heartbreak into hope, and their challenges into meaningful change and finding new purpose in life. And it's through these kind of candid conversations and inspiring stories that we uncover how pain, whether physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, and you guys know that I've talked about using the four legs of a chair for pain. And, you get any of those four legs that are, start shortening up because we're not balanced in our lives, and having a stable platform to sit on, that we start having some issues, and we've got to have these kinds of candid conversations to have the type of profound growth and deeper sense of purpose that we need. And so I'm very excited to be able to have a guest on the show today. You know, y'all will be surprised how people come into my life, and the stories that you share on Facebook, and I reach out to people. Hey, would you please come on my show? And I think that you've got something meaningful to share. And I have a gentleman that I contacted out of the blue like this because he shared something that he's doing with a Facebook group. So let me enlarge this so I can read it a little bit better. And so he started a Facebook group called Pathway of Memorial and Honor. And this is a group where these are those who have served and sacrificed their lives in combat and abroad are remembered and honored. And the red bricks have names of these soldiers and also those who have served honorably who wish to have their time and service recognized. So here we.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Chris Dunham, welcome to the From Pain to Purpose radio show.
Thank you for having me.
So I looked on your Facebook profile. It's amazing things that you can find. Ask you a little bit of a few questions. You served in the Army for 8 years, and you're also a Desert Storm veteran. So I love that you're on my show. We Desert Storm vets have to stick together. And let's see, you served on an artillery crew, and did some finance clerking as well, and started this Facebook group that sounds very interesting. So, go ahead and take it away and tell us, your little intro there.
Yeah, I'm like I say, I'm a Desert Storm veteran. Got out after about a year after my deployment back. I wasn't quite the same. I won't go into detail, but had to go and get seen medically. But it was years after the fact that I went and seeked help. And when I did seek help, I needed something to take and be an outlet for me as far as for healing purposes and whatnot. So I started this little group. It was originally just family, and started out just originally just Pathway Memorial of Honor. And I just said, I just want to build something small to remember and honor my father, my father-in-law, my great-grandfather, the people within my family that served. My uncle, he's a World War II POW during Battle of the Bulge. I also had his name in there. But what started out small made me focus upon that memorial, and the more I focused upon it, the more I wanted to reach out to not only family but other people that have lost a loved one during combat or PTSD, upon return. It's a group that I started back in 2017. It started out slow, and it really blossomed into a fairly large group. I have people from all throughout the United States, as well as there's a few from Puerto Rico and Hawaii, and it's just a place where we can get together, unite as one, and bond as one, share life stories. Uh, if there's any time anyone needs to talk with anybody, uh, directly or indirectly, you can do it through Messenger. You can find one another within this group very, very easily. And like I say, it's called Pathway and Memorial of Honor. So
Okay.
there's no the in front of it, just Pathway and Memorial of Honor. And
Okay.
if you type that in, all alphabetical or all capitalized, you'll be able to, anybody on Facebook or on the internet can see that.
I found the group. I'm going to pop the link in. Let's see. I'm going to pop the link into the chat for everybody. So
Okay.
you all should be able to find it. I hope you may get a lot of requests. We'll see how that works for you. So who are the people that typically want to join your group?
I would say the majority of them are people that are those who've lost their sons and daughters. I have quite a few of them. Probably 300 to 400 maybe, that have lost their loved ones.
Yeah.
Are members of the group, and anyone can join the group. The only thing I ask of people is, there, I speak of no political, no ethnic, no religious. It just, because once you start talking about that, then everything gets kind of blown out of proportion, and people start talking about that versus what this group is meant for, which is to uh, gain camaraderie within the group amongst those of us that have similar losses in our lives.
Right. But you do this, so let's walk people through what is. I know you said you started it out with your family, but it has grown into other people, obviously, right? So tell us about the bricks.
The bricks, I have on the bricks. I normally start out with the first name, middle initial, last name, and then what branch of service that they served in, and then where they were deployed, whether it be Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Korea, Vietnam, World War II, wherever it may have been. I have that placed on the brick, and like I say, I send. That's the only cost of this in this group or within this group, because of the fact that I do hire that out. I hire the bricks out to get engraved, and it costs for shipping naturally. So by the
Right.
time the shipping and they make it, they mail it, and then I install it. It also helps me with the upkeep of the pathway and the surrounding area, the memorial around the area.
So is this memorial in your town?
This memorial is actually on my property, but it's accessible to the public.
Okay.
My neighbors know of it. They respect it. And the only thing I ask of people is when they do come, if they come, whether they come at night or during the day, it doesn't matter. At night, it's illuminated at night, to where
Okay.
I believe that all veterans, all soldiers deserve to be remembered, not during only dark times, but also in light. So the purpose of my illuminating the walkway and illuminating the memorial at night, is to make sure that to let people know that they're always remembered, they're always there with us. So
Right. It makes perfect sense. Well, we'll get into some more of helping people find some inspiration from this. I'm going to go ahead and go to our first video. Actually, we've got to talk about we'll do the cruise video, and then I'll move it into the Mr. Red, White, and Blue patriotic song. Okay, we'll be right back.
Join Military Broadcast Radio and Fairway Travel for the 2025 Veterans Day Cruise aboard Carnival Vista. We will embark on a 6-day Eastern Caribbean cruise November 9th through 15th from Port Canaveral. Are you ready to relax, explore, celebrate? This is a voyage you don't want to miss. Destinations include Amber Cove, Half Moon Cay, and the all-new Celebration Key. Delight in the Dominican Republic's Amber Cove with stunning beaches and island vibes. Enjoy Half Moon Cay, known as a private Bahamian paradise. And finally, a day at Celebration Key, Carnival Cruise Line's exclusive new getaway. Honor the heroes in your life with an unforgettable cruise experience this Veterans Day at sea. Fairway Travel will handle all the planning so you can focus on making memories. Call Fairway today, 228-365-3480, or email fonda@fairwaytravel.com or red@mbradio.us.
It's the guts and it's the glory, 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. much in love. Hey. Hey.
So that was Mr. Coffee with Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I am Eva Fulton, the host of the From Pain to Purpose radio show, and I have a guest on today, Mr. Chris Dunham, and he's telling us about what his new purpose has been since 2017. I think you said, right? 2017, was that right?
That's correct.
For Pathway and Memorial of Honor. And I'm sharing my screen for those of you who may be joining on the audio side. And that way you can see what, I guess I could close that out and expand this a little bit. Let's see, hopefully that works. Sometimes, I have a Mac. I know it's one of the things that our producer doesn't really like. I have a Mac, but I think he's kind of finally getting into it. But so you have these bricks, and actually I have seen some of these bricks in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't know how many companies do this, but I haven't seen it done to the extent where you've got some beautiful decorating that you've done with these planter boxes. And let's see, these planter boxes, that's really pretty. Were you able to get it all filled in?
A lot of time, lot of finance out of pocket, but it was well worth every penny.
And look at all those statues. That is amazing.
Yeah, I have statues within that within the Pathway and Memorial that run. They average between 1.5 feet for the small ones, and then there's a large one in the background there, a single soldier by another flagpole that is real close to 5 foot tall.
Wow. So this has been a labor of love, to put it mildly, right?
Correct.
I can't imagine how long. I mean, I know that this started out as an idea for you, but what steps did you take to actually get it going more and finding somebody that makes the bricks with the people's names on it?
The hardest thing I had was to find a person to do the bricks for me. That was quite the chore. I did a lot of soul searching, a lot of searching online and whatnot, and I finally found someone that does it for me. And it's my way of healing, if you will.
Right.
My way of giving back to the community, to the veterans, to their families. Like I say, everything I do within this group is there's no cost to it. Like I say, except for the cost of the brick. But other than that, everything else is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this memorial. My son assisted in the laying of the concrete around the patio and also the pathway leading up to the memorial. The memorial, the bricks are incorporated as it's a flag. It's in the shape of a United States flag, 3 foot by 5 foot. Standard flag normally, or it's a little bit bigger than a 3 by 5. On the red bricks, like I mentioned before, are those names of soldiers, past and present, that have served. A lot of them have sacrificed, and like I say, it just gives me the opportunity to, I find comfort within helping other people, and through through the pain, through what I've withstood on my tour over and across the waters.
Mhm.
It's just it's my honor and privilege to do this for those folks, as well as it's a healing process for me.
For sure. So I think for me, and just thinking, how is this something that people can reach out to you and do a brick? I think that's one thing that I'm thinking of, because maybe they don't have this kind of park or garden in their local community. But
Right.
there's also that other side that I think I want to ask also, if somebody is looking at starting a local memorial park, how would they do that? So let's go for the first question on, you know, how can they reach out to you if they've lost somebody? How can they reach out to you to get their loved one's name on the brick?
They can reach out to me on Facebook. They can look me up on Facebook. It's Chris Dunham,
Okay.
and it's a picture of myself and my wife with a red heart. It's been like that for a few years now, and I don't intend on changing it. They can look me up that way. They can once they look me up, they can either shoot me a message. Um everything is discreet, totally discreet, and that's because I used to be a nurse practitioner assistant back years ago, and I was always taught that, hey, let's keep, I want to keep it, you know between us. And that's exactly what I do. If someone wishes to contact me individually and wants uh, to vent or to share their story, I keep that all confidential. Unless they want, if they want to share it, that's fine. But I never share anybody's story unless they approve of it.
Right. But there are resources for them to be able to talk to somebody, grief counseling or whatever. Um,
And there's various sources that a veteran can they can go through. They can go through their local American Legion post. They can also reach out to their local VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars.
or Gold
They
Star
can
wives or Gold Star mothers.
Gold Star
Y-
mothers and
Yep.
Gold Star families. They can look for their sites online. They can also go to the uh, disabled American veterans, and they assist with quite a bit of it. We
Okay.
also have numerous groups of riders groups that ride motorcycles that are veteran oriented, and the American Legion has one. It's the American Legion Riders, which I'm also a member of that. I try to help out with them as much as possible through their. They do quite a few escorts to the funerals. They also do the rifle volleys, which I do. I do that quite a bit.
Okay.
So, like I say, there's various organizations throughout each community. Normally, would have at least one of those uh, businesses or organizations that they can contact if need be.
Right, right. But you, so far you're not a nonprofit, you're not a 501c3 or anything like that. So you're doing this out of, really started out as your own therapeutic healing, which I really love. Because if you know me and my people gardening, I got lots of therapy pulling weeds out of the yard. A lot of people may, put the poison down, but it's really good therapy getting down on your hands and knees and really praying. I think I did a lot of praying to God and crying while I was pulling weeds, and it's amazing what you can do in healing, doing that kind of stuff, and it really starts transforming you. So if you were to do this all over again and do this in a public setting, let's say in your town, I don't know if you thought about doing that, but if you had a recommendation for somebody to do that, do you have any recommendations how they would begin?
I,
Design concepts or, stuff like that.
I do, and I did exactly that. I went to went through my local VFW, and they opened their arms and let me in wholeheartedly. I not only joined the VFW, but I was there. I still am with the VFW. I'm like a member of them, but I was the junior vice adjutant and adjutant of the VFW at the time, and they asked me what we could do with the bricks from the old post home. Their old post home had bricks similar to what I've done, and I told them, I said, well, why not maybe have it in the cemetery leading up to the statue of Jesus, and it's actually right down the street. I mean, it's kind of comical in a way, but it just kind of worked out that way. But it's within a mile from here, from my house, and they have bricks that they can order, and that's through the VFW. If anyone wanted to order one that's locally, that they have that option as well here in Manhattan, Kansas.
Okay. I think I've seen different places where they put up the big monuments in different cities. Some of them have already passed, but some of these cities, they're putting up putting up these big monuments for anybody that is served, right? And it's just a matter of, submitting a redacted DD 214 or some kind of documentation, because we don't want to give honor to somebody that didn't make that sacrifice or didn't serve.
Correct. That is correct.
Stolen valor type. We don't want to put somebody with stolen valor in there and have a remembrance that didn't actually serve. So interesting, huh?
See, on my pathway memorial, the memorial, it's consisted of the majority of them have given their life. However, I do have a few in there, and I'd like to make that known, is that I do have people that have served that want to be recognized, that served, say, in Kuwait, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, whatever the case may be. If they served honorably and they wanted a brick, I have no problems doing that.
Okay.
But I did want to specify that, yeah, not everybody within the pathway is gone.
Okay.
I would say 3/4 of them are gone because due through PTSD. They took their own lives that way,
Right.
and through combat. So the majority of them are that, but there are a few exceptions, and I've let people know and that they have an option to choose to have a brick as long as they were deployed and they're honorably discharged and they want to be honored. Then I have no complaints about that, as long as they have a DD 214 or
Right.
they can tell me that, show me that they've served.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Because sometimes you need to, sometimes in a way, that brick is going to serve as the validation. I've been there, done that, right? I got I got a brick for it. And I'm not trying to say that lightly, because for somebody it's it is a it is a powerful tool that says somebody else recognized that I served, and because you may not get that validation at home, but you are a total stranger who is looking at a document and says, I know that you're there in Kansas, but somebody, like I said, from Kalamazoo or Hawaii or Puerto Rico, you said you've got bricks in there from Puerto Rico. Somebody is served there that or from there that that still can, if somebody is struggling, that their service and their name being on that brick could be a powerful message to them that they matter. Does that make sense the way I'm saying?
And you're absolutely right. I do go live on Facebook occasionally, and I let just to basically check in on folks to see if everybody's doing okay, and to let them know that it is an open group where if they want to share pictures of their loved ones or memories, that's what it's there for.
Right, right. Wow, this is pretty incredible. I would hope that other people find some inspiration by what you've been doing, and want to join or support your group, or maybe even start their own. What if there's other pathways and honor groups in a different city and state that they could do something very similar? And, I could just imagine that, you might get somebody reaching out. Where did you get the statues? Where did you, what planners did you use? Because I think you put together a very beautiful garden that spoke to me. And I knew that, it certainly fit the pain to purpose, story of things, that there are great things that can come out of the stuff we do. Um, is there anything you want to share about your own story that we haven't already covered?
Yeah, I'll share a little bit. I won't go into detail or anything about my traumas, but
Okay.
when people are deployed, a lot of people that aren't deployed wouldn't know the first thing about what I'm about to say. But being deployed versus not being deployed, I've noticed through my own experiences that being deployed, especially into a combat zone or a combat ready zone, is that your focus, you're extremely focused on the who's, the where's, the what's, the why's, the nots, about your surrounding areas, about what's around you.
Right.
And I did things and seen things while I was deployed that most people that aren't deployed never see, and don't have to make decisions at a moment's notice that can be life changing for either that individual or the individuals from the other country.
And your teammates as well.
That is correct.
Yeah. So has that been a difficult transition for you to not have those on the spot moments? And I mean, I think for me and my military service and making the transition from active duty to a civilian. I got out in 2000, so pretty, many years, 8 years after, or 9 years after Desert Storm ended. But I had a difficulty with, I'm going to use a simple analogy of going to the grocery store versus going to the commissary. I had way too many choices for cereal. I mean, you go to the grocery store. I don't care if it's Walmart or whatever, that it's an aisle and a half, almost two, both sides of an aisle with all this cereal and food products, all this, it was too much compared to you going to the commissary or whatever's convenient, when you're overseas, and it's maybe half an aisle. Your choice selection was narrowed down for you. And have you experienced something similar to that as well? You're nodding, so I'm using that just as an analogy,
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't say as far as I wouldn't say it was the same as that.
Right.
My main ordeal or situation was whenever I go to stores, and if the more crowded it is, the more people that are around, the more my anxiety increases, and most of it was due to my hypervigilance. I was hypervigilant on what's going around me, and for a lengthy period of time when I was deployed, you didn't have all those people around you,
Right.
And most of the time you're either by yourself or you only have one or two people around you, and for doing that I would say I was close to 6 months over there deployed. And when I came back, I wouldn't say, I don't say it in a comical way, but I was, how would I say it? My anxiety was real. It went from a 0 to an 8 within a matter of minutes when I walked into a store, versus if I was somewhere where there were very few people around, then my anxiety wasn't as bad.
Right. It makes sense, and probably even like going into the restaurant and sitting where you're facing the door and you don't ever put your back to the door. A lot of those things, even for me, that doesn't change. I mean, unless I'm with a guy like my dad, and dad's got guard, and but I'm sure that for many people, that's all pretty much the same. And a lot of it, I think, is, we just learned operational security, and there are just some of those things that are been trained and is not going to go away. We are going to be vigilant to a degree. And, the stuff that we see on the news, I think, is also going to influence on how much do we turn up that vigilance versus not, Well, I'm going to go ahead and move to a commercial, and we will be right back. Let's see, which one am I going to do? I think this one.
I laid down on Sunday, dreading the morning to be dreading my life. I'm so tired of the paper chase, tired of the average pace, tired of the lies. When I woke up, the sirens went just as the ceiling fell. They stayed just in time. Make my way into the streets. No one was watching me. They ran for their lives. Monday for me. Who would have thought it'd be the end of the world? Just a Monday for me. Who would have thought it'd be the end of the world? Just a Monday for me. Who would have thought it'd be the end of the world? Just a Monday for me. Who would have thought it'd be the end of the world? Waiting in the morning light, sun comes up to defeat the night. I'll be waiting in the morning light. I'll be waiting in the morning light. I'll be waiting in the morning light. Sun comes up, it's gonna be alright. I'll be waiting in the morning light. I'll be waiting in the morning light. I'll be waiting in the morning light. Sun comes up, it's gonna be alright. I'll be waiting. It's just a Monday for me. Who would have thought it'd be the end of the world?
Hi, everybody. I'm back. This is Eva Fulton with the From Pain to Purpose radio show. And I think it looks like we lost our guest. I don't know where Chris went. I'm not sure if he had a connection problem or what. So maybe we'll get him back and he can say goodbye. You know, I wanted to really kind of recap some things that he said, because I think that it's really important to remember that a lot of what we do, not just within BR, but within the veteran community in general, the way we're going to be able to survive as a collection of all of us, both as the military and veterans and family members, is it's the connection amongst each other, right? It is us who are here, the community. And I think I mentioned that pretty well in my documentary From Pain to Purpose, or Second Service Story, that it's the community is the answer. And we were the answer when we were in the military, serving and supporting each other, the family members supporting each other. And now as a collective community, and now that we're out, we still are the answer in my opinion, in serving and supporting each other. And I'm very honored and privileged to be a host on MBR, Military Broadcast Radio, because it is the place where we get to have a voice. Oh, okay, sorry, he said that his phone started to overheat, so no problem. Thank you for letting me know. So that's what happened to Chris. His phone overheated. So, thank you, Chris, for sharing your story on what you've been doing, because to me, that is a huge Pain to Purpose story. And I think that's why us having our voices matters, and inspiring somebody else to maybe replicate and do the same, reaching out to Chris and getting a brick with their loved one's name on it, and putting it in his garden. Or maybe you want to, you feel inspired and you want to start your own garden in your local community and working with a veteran service organization. And, for each of us to have our voice, and that's just obviously one instance. Um, I think that we're going to hear lots of other pain to purpose stories. I was very inspired with being on Red's show earlier today and the different reasons why each of these hosts are on MBR, I think is phenomenal. That, we each have our unique stories. And if it's, if we're saving one life, then that's what matters the most. That we are thriving and doing exactly what God wants us to do by being here and using our voice and saving somebody else. And I got to spend a lot of time with Jose yesterday from the Motivated Mindset, and was on his show a while ago. And hearing, I missed part of the, having a great conversation with us. And we're going to have to figure out how we can meet and go hiking together. And I may have to start a veteran hiking group. I don't know what's going to come out of this. But I feel very inspired that more people are finding that the outdoors is the place to be. And that gets us grounded. I have my grounding mat that I always have down here. I love sitting here while I'm on air, and I have my feet on the grounding mat because I miss going outside. And I went hiking the other day with my daughter, and that was beautiful, but it wasn't long enough. I didn't get, a super sweat on and, get my 10,000 steps in. I got a few steps in, but I need some more. But, the cool thing, so yesterday we were at this event, and I'm terrible. Let me pull up the picture so I can tell you. It was the Veteran Success Resource Group in DC. And I'll do another shout out to Livy and Nunn for letting me be on a panel. And with the two other panelists, we were just, had a phenomenal time sharing how we, how do you get on air and do this? And I would love to have a co-host. So if you're interested, feel free. I'll be happy to, help show you the ropes and get you on, help, produce some of these shows. I think it's what I'm doing is helping produce, by helping push buttons on the side, because it's Red's show or it's Jose's show. I can help you navigate and help you learn the process on doing all this. It is fun. I didn't have this on my bingo card last year. Oh, let me be a radio show host. I didn't have this. I have used my voice to write a book, and I'm thrilled that it is moving into the distribution phase. So welcome to my people garden. I'm excited that is moving into the next phase of distribution. So more to follow on it, and I'll probably be putting out some links and hopefully become a sponsor on MBR and with some of the sales, so I can make it win-win for all of us and grow our people garden. And let's see what else. I've been working on my dissertation. Oh, there's Chris is coming back. I've been working on my dissertation. So I don't know if you know this, Chris. I'm in a PhD program, and I've been working on my dissertation. So I've been studying and doing research on female combat veterans. Were you aware that even with us in Desert Storm, we were the first females to have been recognized as having been in combat theater, compared to previous wars and conflicts? They were there, but they were seen as volunteers. We were the first ones who were paid to actually be there in theater, even though we were not in combat roles. I still was issued a gun. I had an M16, and we had, magazines that the enemy doesn't know, didn't know then who was a woman and who was a man. They just see somebody's in uniform. Anybody was just as liable to be, shot at as, the next person, Anyhow, so do you have any parting words? We've got about 3 minutes for the closing segment. Do you have any parting words on what you've been doing and encouragement for somebody else to start their own garden?
Yeah, I would highly encourage it to anyone that wants to do something similar to this.
Mhm.
At the most, I mean, I get what I get out of it. I get in twice or twofold or twice as much. And it is time consuming, and it does cost me a little bit of cash flow on the side. But if you're willing to do that out of your own pocket as well, I mean it's very very therapeutic. You have a tendency of having meeting so many veterans, so many veterans families, and some of which become almost like family to you because you have so much in common.
I bet just relating and sharing, sharing, there's a certain kinship, I think. My uncle was a homeless veteran in Austin, and we're pretty sure that I was the last one to see him, but I didn't know who he was. He was, because I wasn't expecting to see him in an alley in Austin, and that was in November. I deployed. I went from reserves to active duty and deployed in December, and he passed away in January. He froze to death in his car. He was homeless. And my dad, we finally tracked down. My aunt had tracked down. They had found his remains, of obviously. So he was in an unmarked grave, and my aunt had found it on a cemetery registry, and Dad built him. He designed a marker for him in the cemetery in Austin. So it's important, to say their name. And I say this because we know that Memorial Day is right around the corner. Lots of veteran service organizations are making preparations. I got an email from the VFW because I belong to the one in Arlington, Virginia, and they all need help. So if you're looking for a service opportunity, get involved, and you'd be surprised about the relationships that you make, both from military members, but also family members who need that connection as well. I think it's a big deal. It is a big deal. And don't forget the Gold Star wives and families as well, mothers. So thank you so much for joining me today, Chris. I'll be watching your pages and seeing what you do. Feel free to reach out if you've got updates or things to share. Feel free to tag me. Be happy to see what you're doing.
Okay, I do have one last thing to say.
Oh, okay.
For those that aren't a member of or a group member yet, that around Memorial Day is one of the biggest seasons that or biggest times of the year that I do commemorate and remember those fallen, because it is about them, and it's not about us that just came back, in a piece. It's more about those that gave their lives. And
Right.
around Memorial Day is when I normally decorate, and it takes me about a day and a half to 2 days to get it right. So if you log in and you feel free to join. You can always decline later if you want, But come on in and see what we're about. We're about the veterans, about their families, and about making sure that their legacies live on.
Okay. Thank you so much. There's another show that has to start. Y'all have a great day and be blessed.
Take care. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.